Alrighty then, you see the image up here on the screen. I am not, I repeat, not sponsored by Suno AI. This is just my opinion. This is just for informational purposes only, nothing else. So now that that's out of the way, here's the philosophy. The philosophy is this. Nobody likes to, so these are all my songs, so no copyright strikes that are going to happen. The philosophy is this. Here's my philosophy. These are cool tools for producers in that if you want to sharpen your skills, you create a song in Suno, or whatever your platform is, Udio, whatever it is, right? You download it, of course, with the permission, and you make a mix, and you try to surpass the audio quality of the mix that the AI is creating. If you can do that, you have just gone from the realm of beginner to advanced, right? So here's what I mean. Let's say I play this right here that I created.
This bass hits harder than your grandma's bunion. Feel the groove shake like tectonic convulsions. With every beat it pounds, it grinds.
You get the point, right? Or maybe something like this.
This bass hits harder than your Breaking Bad. Down to get you jumping.
My point is, if you can't at least do that, then we got a major problem, right? It's not that you suck, and it's not anything other than you just need to practice. If you can do that right there, if you can actually do that, then you qualify as a music producer or a mix engineer. I can't quite do that. And here's what I mean. My specialty is not, I repeat, not vocals. Yes, I can mix vocals. I've made tracks with vocals in them before, and everything like that. But when it comes to vocals, that's my weakest point. So I mean, if you can't make a track that at least is comparable, then you know what I mean. There's something going on that's wrong. Maybe there's some. And you know, and here's the cool thing: is it's not to say like there's something wrong. It's more like to say it's awesome that we have this tool, the AI tool that we can use to generate music that we can use. And I'm going to go right back to this. There's a music producer that I'm pretty sure copies my fucking content. Like I'm pretty damn sure, even though I'm brand new and I hardly have any followers, I'll make like something like a Vital Preset pack. 30 minutes later, the dude's making a Vital Preset pack. I'll make something on bass creation in synths. An hour, 45 minutes later, he's making bass creation in synths. I'll do something like EQing drums, and then he's got a drum fucking thing, which is stupid because the guy's a good streamer, like a video content creator, and he has a lot more followers than I do and a lot more likes, and so I kind of think it's kind of cool in one sense. It's that it's a personal challenge, but in the other sense, I think, well, why are you copying my ideas? Like, that's just weird. You obviously have a better reputation. You can come up with your own ideas. I mean, it's like, but I mean, I sort of get it. Like, that's just kind of what happens on YouTube. People scroll around and they go, oh, I could do this better. I mean, that's how I'm taking it. I'm taking it as like he's thinking, oh, I can do this better. And he can do it better. I don't know if he can make better music, but he can definitely do better video quality content. me, a lot of time I have a hard time sleeping, so I get on here and I sound like this. Hi, I'm Sad Sal. I'm gonna EQ the drums now, and so that's what my problem is. So I'm not like like necessarily a video content creator. But anyways, so the previous live stream was about how to make an intro the easy way. And if you were here for that, then you learned a thing or two about a thing or two. Let me get back into it and let's see what kind of cool shit we can come up with here. So I got a bit much going on here in this little baseline action here. But whatever. Let's figure this out. Let's put some crazy, something fucking vicious. Let's put it like something old school that always seems to work somehow. Oh no, I don't have it. Oh, there it is. I was gonna say it's gone already. I had to search for this damn thing in the past so many times. I mean, just right away, it just gives it that crispy crisp. Maybe it's just making it louder. Obviously, it's making it louder. Let's do that. There we go. I'm thinking there's too much. I don't know. What are we guessing here? Let me guess. Let's put a spectrum analyzer on this beast and see if we can see what there's too much of. But I'm going to guess, I don't know, like 90 to 300 or something like that. Let's see here. Let's see if I could see what's going on here. Let's see what's happening with this bad boy right here. So 300, that is the culprit. I fucking got lucky this time. A lot of time I'm just like, oh, what's going on here? How come I can't figure out what's wrong with my music? All right. Let's do that. Let's go into the 300 zone. Bam. We'll keep that guy on. And we'll make him be 300. There we go. And we're going to set the threshold. We're going to crazy ratio. Long release time. Slow attack time. And let's see what I can come up with here. Turn off span. I'll just use the internal fucking oscillator or whatever the fuck it is. Spectrum analyzer. Microphone check. Microphone check. Microphone check. Alrighty then. So I've already covered what there is to cover. If you're here, it's because I have mixing ADD. I have mixing ADD. Mix DD. All right, cool. Well, everything looks and sounds cool. Aha, I knew there was a problem here. Okay, so we've got drums. I'm just going to call this mains. So control R main. These are main Dr. Ums. Main Dr. Ums. All right, let me try this again. Technical difficulties. I had malfunctions. So I don't like how this sounds, and because there's no rules in music except for the basic rules, which is you don't want it to sound like shit. This to me sounds like shit. All right, so what I have to do here on this fucking thing is we've got to actually take out the snare from the drum loop, and I'm going to put it on Soundtrack. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this out. Oops. Fucking A. Oh my fucking God. All right, so it's not the mix, it's something else. It's just something else in the background. All right, so we're going to have to do that. That. That, 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 and then that should be good. And the snares are different, otherwise I would just cut them out and copy paste. And I don't remember what's what, and they're all the same color, so I don't want to get confused. And this might seem tedious, but this is going to be badass once it's dealt with. This is going to be the way to do it. A lot of times, if you're doing music stuff, you don't want to, take the shortcut. You want to take your time to go ahead and do the difficult stuff. So we're going to go ahead and do this. So that's the difficult stuff. So now I have a snare track, and I'm going to put it on top, and I'll color it like green or something. Do that, bang, and delete that, delete this, and loop this out. So a lot of times I can get away with just EQing in on the compressor settings. So let's raise this up. Let's do the makeup gain back to no makeup gain, and let's side chain from what we're going to call the snare here. So this is going to be snare, and I like how it's ducking out 30 hertz. This gives that bass a lot of sound. From my end, I can hear it real well, and maybe you can't hear it from your end, especially if you're listening on a phone or something like that. So now I'm going to turn this back on and see what we get. All right, I'm going to get this guy dealt with by just actually resampling this little section here, and I'll play with some mono, some stereo field stuff here. We're going to go resample. We'll go in from bass, in from, where the hell is bass at? In from bass. What the fuck is going on here? So we've got bass. Let me make sure this is not called bass also up here. Interesting. Intro drums. There it is. Usually I do capital letters, so I was throwing myself off. So I'm going to go ahead and punch in and punch out here on this section. Okay, one thing I forgot to do is take off the compressors. So let me group this and then turn these guys off. And then I'll put these on this actual channel here. I'll turn off this limiter, and I'm going to use them later. That way I get the actual bass without the compression baked into it. Try that one more time here. Okay, we got a major problem going on here. Let's lower this down to 9. Let's try that one more time. So the reason I'm doing this, the reason I'm trying to get this waveform to look as uniform as possible, is it'll save me a lot of time later in the mastering stage. If this bass is about as uniform as possible, then it's not gonna like create a spike in any kind of like compression or limiting or sidechain compressing or any kind of it's not going to throw off the balance with sidechain compressing. I mean, it's not going to overly distort in this section if I've got some saturation on it. So I'm going to try to get it about as balanced visually as possible, because I couldn't hear the difference, but you know, thank God we can use our eyes as well as our ears. It's a little bit quieter. I'm going to bump it up a couple dB just to be on the safe side and call this one the final cut. So I didn't even realize that you guys couldn't even see what I was looking at. So I'm looking at this right here, which is this little section here. So I'm going to bump this down 1 dB, and that's going to be good. So I'm looking at this little last section, this little response, or this little tension breaker or creator, even depending on how you say it, or like the turnaround. So I'm trying to get this resampling waveform to be as uniform as possible for all the reasons that I just said a moment ago. Okay, that looks and sounds decent. That looks good. It sounds okay. There's some problems going on with it, but I can possibly fix that later. All right, so now I can get rid of this altogether. And since I have the side chaining hold on a second. Okay, so this has the sidechain settings. So let me go ahead and turn those on and see what it does to the drums or to the bass. Let's see if it actually helps or harms it. So this is with it off. And then I'll go ahead and turn it on. So I'm liking it. Maybe the snare is a bit much. Maybe I'll raise this up a little bit for the snare. Let's try it with it off again. I don't even think it needs it for the snare because I can't really hear the difference. Let me turn it off for the snare and see what happens. I don't know. I might like it for the rhythm that it creates. Maybe I'll lengthen the release time to give it a little bit more of like a rhythm. Yeah, let's just get rid of it. I think it sounded good without it. All right, so that snare is perfectly fine the way it is. All right, so now I want to duplicate this track out, and you're probably thinking, "Oh, holy fuck, what he's doing? He's gonna duplicate out his bass? No fucking way, dude!" Oh wait, you know what? More than that, let's maybe not duplicate it. I'll put the multi bandito effect rack on here. So let me grab it real quick. Let's see, multi-bandito effect rack. Where is it at? There we go, right there. So I'll put some processing on the, I'll put it in front of the sidechain compression. I'll put some processing on the mid channel. Maybe do some stereo spread type stuff with the simplest tool ever, which is going to be either a delay or I might do some kind of higher tech shit here. Maybe I'm going to do some higher tech shit to make the video interesting. So let's do this. Here, watch. Let's duplicate this. And then go like that. And then I'll freeze only the mid channel here, and I'll turn the compressor off, of course. I'll turn the compressor back on. Maybe. I might not need it, but let's see here. Let's freeze out just the middle channel. There we go. Let's flatten it out, and it's going to be a thin waveform. So this is going to be just all the mid information going on in this bass. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, and on this track, I'm going to either adjust the milliseconds here or grab a delay, and maybe that's what I'll do is I'll just use a delay. Let's see, audio effects. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this, group it together, and then call this stereo, bass stereo information. So let's rename it bass stereo, and that's good enough. I know what that means. I don't know if I spelled that right, but I don't know if I can care. All right, so I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna do something like this, mid side mode. I mean stereo mode. And then I'm gonna turn this guy all the way to the left, and then crank this guy all the way to the right. Then I'm gonna come in here and just go like this. 1, 2. There we go. 1, 2. Up in the other direction, and then I'm gonna put a filter on it because there's a lot of low information. So maybe I'll do something like this. Right? I'll come over here and maybe like that. So that if we listen to it now, it should be in stereo, right? But it should sum to mono as well. So I'll keep that EQ off because it might sound good in the mix. So I don't hear the right channel too much, but that could be because my right ear is a little messed up in certain frequency, So let me hear this again. Okay, so maybe instead of 2 milliseconds and 2 milliseconds in the other direction, I just go 1 millisecond, oops, in that direction, 1 millisecond down, and then 1 millisecond up, and see what that gets us. I like that, and so that should sum to mono. Let's see here. So I'm going to really push it in mono until it starts to get all weird and phasey. It's kind of phasey, but let's hear it now out of mono, see if we got some width. Nah. So I'm just going to go in here by hand and do it this way. I like that. Let's maybe mess with this one as well. That's probably the best. All right, let's bring that into the mix. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the mid-range over here, and let's see if that's shitty or if I need to turn that mid-range back on. So let's hear it in the mix. I'll just crank this bass into mono. Let me put the sidechain compression on here. And I'll turn this main signal, I'll just reduce it down into mono and put some crazy distortion on it. Maybe put that Camel Crusher back on it or something. Maybe I'll distort the side channels, maybe with a vocoder. Maybe that'll do it. Let's see here. What do we got on these side channels? Maybe we'll do all bands and then just crazy form it, pitch that shit way up, and then modulation, and then just slowly introduce it. Crank up the gate level. We'll see what we get. Yeah, that's a shitty distortion to use. Let's not use that. Let us, meaning myself and I, let's maybe put this one that everybody loves on here that I think is stupid, but maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll actually work good. Problem with this one is that when you turn it on, it comes in louder already, and so it lies to you, right? That might be better on the main channel. That might actually work here on this mono signal. That'll work on the mono signal. Let's go ahead and copy this over to here to the mono signal as well now. Get some side chaining going on. I don't know, it sounds good. It sounds good the way it is. Maybe no distortion on the sides, just keep that distortion right down the middle. Now these drums need some work. These drums need to be the hardest hitting drums on planet Earth and the entire cosmos combined. And in order to do that, I'm just gonna do some generic ass shit that just comes with Ableton Live, which is grab their stock OTT, not the OTTT, but the OTT. And I have this setting, which is equal loudness volume setting, and I'm just gonna mix it into 50%, and then I'll play with it. Let's see here. Let's put it at 50%. Okay, that dulled the shit out of it. So let's get rid of that fucking garbage. Let's just go into compressor land and see what I got for compressors. Now I did get the Molotalk compressor finally reinstalled. Let's put that one on and see what that does. Mola. Or is it Mola? Or is it Valhalla? Alright, so Mola. Is it Molotalk? Oh shit, I didn't install it, did I? Let me just go to TDR Nova. Let's see what we got. In TDR Novaville, we've got TDR Nova, Kotelnikov, and we've got, there we go. Nope. Yeah, I didn't install it. Well, that sucks. I did not install it. That's okay, though. I got tons of other compressors to use. Let's maybe use the Brit channel. I like this on drums. I'm not sure how to use this guy really too much. So we'll keep him at 50 cents. Let's see. Where's the mix knob? Trim. Mix looks like it's at 50 cents already. Oh, wait, here we go. 50% there. And we'll start playing with this. It might just sound good right out of the gate. Yeah, I don't like it. It's just destroyed. Is the input at 0? Oh, fuck. Well, maybe that's what the problem is. Let's put this back to there. Bring the input up to 0. There we go. Let's try that again. No, I'm not liking it. We get these guys out of the mix, and let's see if that's actually helpful. No. Yeah, so that's an ugly compressor. On these drums, I like it on other stuff. Let's just go with this guy. Could never really fail with this guy. And we're not going to do. Just going to leave it flat. And we're going to do 50%. Let's see. Go 50%. Oops. So we've got. Interesting. All right, so this is definitely a dedicated mastering mixer here, or compressor here. So let's not use this guy. I might want to use this guy because look at this. We've got the stereo sensitivity here, and this particular drum track is pretty cool. It's got a lot of stereo stuff going on. Listen to the sides. So it might actually work pretty good. Let's just give it a shot and see what happens. Okay, right off the bat, it's just way too fucking loud because I have. There we go. What I'm gonna try to do is just destroy the sound, basically. Let's see here. So while it's destroyed, I'm going to play with the attack so I can get the hardest hitting attack out of these drums as possible. And then I'll follow it up with a limiter, of course. And then I'm now that I've got a pretty gnarly attack. Listen. I'll follow it up with a release. Let's give it a crazy ratio. Just all right, so that sounds good. So that's an insane ratio. I'm going to bring the ratio back down now. Cool. And now I'm going to grab this clipper here. Maybe not a clipper, maybe not a clipper. How about not a clipper? Let's do, so reference tools, I think it's a wave breaker. I learned about this free plugin watching Sage Audio. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool free plugin here. want to see how loud we can get these fucking drums without blasting my ears on my side. Let me see what's going on here. There we go. Let's maybe get rid of some of this too. There we go, that's pretty much invisible. I'm going to crank this until it's just fucking garbage, pure garbage. Okay, cool. So what I'm doing right now is I'm testing the limits of this little free limiter plugin. No pun intended. And I'm going to mess with the drive while it sounds like shit like this. I'm going to mess with the compensate. I'm going to mess with the preserve and the saturate while it's sounding like shit so I can see what it actually can do and then figure out how to flavor the drums. That drive is cool. It's a little bit harsh. I think it sounded cool right about there. And I know it's low on your end, but I'm listening to things. So what you want to listen to is you want to listen to the high end. You want to listen to the destructive pumping and any kind of like crunchy destructive distortion. And then I'll back off the limiter, and then those drums will be crushed. Those drums will be hitting harder than any drums in the known universe. So that compensate is cool. So what this does is it basically lowers the incoming signal. That's kind of cool. Sorry about that. Okay, let's see what preserve does. Is that a preserve the transients? Let's take it off and see what it does. That sounds better. That sounds way better. Way crazy snare. To keep that preserve off. What does the preserve function even do? Let's hear it again. Take it off. Okay, it's destroyed the snare, but it's also improved it somehow. So maybe give it a little like this. Maybe a little bit more. That sounds cool. What is its stock setting? I don't even remember. All right, and then everybody knows what saturate is. So let's hear some saturate. Destructuate. So I think the saturate sounded good right about there. No, that's even too much. That's even too much. Maybe there. I wonder if the saturate works in conjunction with the preserve. Let's try that. That sounds cool. So I'm going to start raising the threshold back up to get essentially the universe's loudest hitting drum break. That'll work. That will definitely work. And so, because of that, I'm going to resample these drums and call these the universe's loudest hitting drum break. Possibly. Who knows? Let's see. We're going to go in from drums, Dr. Ums. Let's see. Dr. Ums. Where you at, Dr. Ums? There you are, in lowercase again. You fucking deceptive Dr. Ums, you. Let's see if it actually clips out. See if this limiter does what it's supposed to do. Oops. It would be helpful if I armed the track, right? Die. Well, that'll work. It looks like it did what it was supposed to do, and I can get rid of these now. Oops. Oh, shit. I don't want to get rid of the bass. And so we've got the side chain going on here. And then we've got the side chain going on here. So maybe I'll just put this all in one group. Oopsie daisy. Let's not do that. Let's go back to the way it was. All right. Because these are minus 4. Okay, anyways. All right, let's see what kind of shit I got going on now. Cool. And we'll do input from Dr. Ums. From Dr. Ums, where you at? Let's rename this Dr. Ums. Dr. Ums, drums. Dr. Ums. Dun, 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 dun. We'll go in from the Dr. Ums. We should have some thumpy dumps right there. Let's go in from drums here. And we should have something that has kick. Fucking horse kick, mule kick power. Interesting. So we've got some frequency clashing going on. When I turned off the side information, I'll put this in mono so you can hear this. When I turn off, watch when I turn off this yellow rectangle here. This is the side information. Then the distortion comes out of the main. That's with it on, and here's with it off. So I need to shape, I need to sculpt the sound here because it's not actually working right. Let's do this. I'll sculpt it this way. Interesting. Yeah. So this is not working. This level of this amount of frequency spread is just not working. So it didn't do what I wanted it to do. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to grab a regular old ping pong delay and slap it on here and see if that's helpful. That actually destroyed the sound, so I'm going to come back in here and take off this EQ. So that was the original sound. Let me see if I can get some side information going on here with just a regular delay. That's probably going to be just fine. And instead of ping pong, we'll do ping pong, but we'll do like fade. We'll see if that actually does anything cool. And what I like to do is I like to tune it. So I tune it by putting the dry wet all the way up, and I put the milliseconds all the way up and the feedback all the way up, and I'll just listen, and I'll bring it down in slowly. Maybe we'll put on repitch. Just get rid of it. Fuck it. Sounds like shit. Maybe I'll just put a reverb on the mono bass. Holy fuck, a reverb on bass? No, you fucking can't do that. Well, guess what? I can do that. Let's put the mid frequencies back in. Let's hear this in this mode real quick. Yeah, I'm liking that. That sounds cool. That sounds really cool. And I'm just going to slap the compressor on the low frequencies only. And get what I get. I'm going to take this out of mono. That'll work. Now the snare is just like fucking biting. So I'm going to add some of this for a top here for these drums. I mean, it's already got some high frequencies, but that's not what I mean. There's some mid frequencies that I like that are in here. And I'm going to add them in if I can.